Hey guys, EDDBUD here, and it's time for another episode of the Running News. This is that weekly show where I present to you all of the latest running shoe event news that I can find drifting around the web, and then I transmit it to you in my own very characterful way via the YouTube. So story one today is around Nike and that Viperfly track shoe. I don't own a set of spikes, but if I did, I think it would have to be something pretty snazzy, something quite colourful. It does appear that there's a story going around, a couple of newspapers picked it up, that Nike are set to shelve that Viperfly track shoe, the one with the huge Zoom Air pod, right underneath the forefoot. An incredibly futuristic design, which seemed to have a carbon plate, but also had that spike plate underneath. And I think that's the bit that's causing some of the controversy. It looks like the two plates are certainly two very different things rather than being built into one midsole. That Zoom Air unit in the front is absolutely huge. In fact, it's two Zoom Air units really, isn't it? Nike first unveiled that shoe over a year ago now, back in February 2020. They said it was going to launch that summer. Obviously, it never happened. And it's never been included in any of those official lists of shoes that you're allowed to wear without being told off. I think it was aimed as a 100-meter only shoe, and it certainly draws loads of design cues from that same family as the Alphafly, doesn't it? It's even got the same doily style laces. It does appear that the shoe's propulsive abilities are just deemed too strong, and I think some other manufacturers have sort of said, well, hang on guys, this isn't on, it's just not cricket. And I'm not entirely sure whether the whole setup there meets the current guidelines. In fact, the current guidelines seem to change, from week to week, day to day. You
can't wear prototype shoes.
No, you can, but you have to tell us about them.
And there's loads of different prototype shoes, and then just wear whatever you like. Wear some daps. Quite a few people still seem to think Nike will come back with another version of this shoe, perhaps modify it very slightly, and it'll all be okay. Maybe in line with the Olympics this year. There's still time. Nike have always got something up their sleeve. It could be a really irritating reflective piece on the outer edge of your big toe that gives you massive blisters that really hurt. Do you think that the Viperfly was perhaps a step or a stride too far? Let me know what you think down in the comments. Story 2 involves Under Armour and a new shoe. Under Armour sales have been slowly creeping up since September. I think they really have harnessed certain technologies now that are starting to improve some of their shoes. I see them gaining further traction by removing the outsole rubber layer from their new offering. It's called the UA Flow Velociti Wind. I was always obsessed with the word wind when I was little. Shoe and wind, those were the two main words that I really enjoyed, and nothing has changed. So that Flow midsole material is not only lighter but more durable than some of the stuff they've been utilising previously. It's one of these ground contact type midsole materials we've seen in Hoka shoes. So you're going to have lightness and durability, the best of both worlds. I think they've trialled this midsole material in the Stephen Curry NBA basketball shoe, the Flow 8. So we can expect some really good grip from this midsole material, but also the cushion that we all desire. I think UA have partnered up again with Dow, who they've worked with before. They're a chemicals company, and they help them design the hover material in the Machina. I believe it uses some type of wax, but I'm no expert on that. The only wax that I have serious experience in is with the turntables and candles and stuff like that. UA sales may be going up, but the weight is going down. A size 9's clocking in at about 8.5 ounces, so only 240 grams. This is very, very welcome news for a man with large feet. So it's going to be hopefully quite a reasonable weight, even in my size. This one is launching in March of 2021 for 140 Earth credits. And it has my attention like a vintage Fender amplifier. You into Under Armour stuff? Let me know down in the comments. Story 3 involves pineapples. So Nike are set to bring back a trail shoe from some years ago. A few pictures surfaced on the net of a new Nike free run trail. This version of the shoe appears to dispense with the numerals that Nike always use on free shoes. I didn't really understand how they worked, but it only took me a couple of seconds to figure it out. Higher the numbers, the more cushion. Lower the numbers, the closer you are to the ground. which is always a good thing when you're tall like me. Even in moderately stacked shoes, I feel like I'm up high in a tall skyscraper or something like that. I went on the London Eye once. Terrifying. So a more minimal heel to toe drop in the Nike free run trail, and that typical sectioned up midsole there you can see in the pictures on the screen right now. I don't know, it always reminds me a little bit of a hedgehog. I don't know why. Certainly a very interesting design. I've never worn one of these. If you have, let me know in the comments. Cork insoles seem to be the thing at the moment. Everybody wants cork insoles. And it seems to be a much lower profile shoe than a lot of the recent Nike offerings coming out of Oregon. I certainly do like this colourway actually, very striking, and I do like the pineapple. He's got a little glint in his eye. I think that Phylon was originally used in the midsole material here. I've really been enjoying that in the Nike Streak 7 recently. Just feels like I'm connected to the ground in that shoe. I'll be very interested to see if that is the case here, if they've carried on the use of that Phylon material. There's not too many shoes that use that now. Mainly basketball models, in fact. So, more news on this one when I get it. Certainly a striking colourway. I bet there'll be some more. I just don't quite understand the pineapple thing, but hey, there's lots of things in life I don't understand. Story 4. Do you guys remember that Asics Metaride? I remember Kafuzi trying that shoe out. It looked absolutely huge. In fact, it looks quite reasonable compared to some of the things that have come out since then. So Asics have teamed up with architect Kengo Kuma. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. If I haven't, I'm very sorry for any offence caused. So this is a special version of the Metaride that I think everybody's been waiting for. I think this is about as different to the Asics Meta Racer as you're ever going to get. If you tried to make a shoe that was so drastically different, I think this is what you'd come up with. There's some sand and beige elements there to the upper. And it's got this intertwined sort of bamboo style slat system. Do you catch my drift? There's a sock-like layer underneath that sort of bamboo strap system. And I really like the fact they've included the Asics logo in there. Very cool. You've got a special lacing system that replaces the standard one. And there's more cork insoles here again. What's going on? Why has everyone got cork insoles all of a sudden? Let me know in the comments if you've got any clue as to why cork is the new thing. I'm not sure I'm going to see my good buddy Kevin Stenner smashing out some long runs in the Metaride here. I don't think this is his kind of shoe. Maybe, Kev, in the warmer months it could be one for you. Certainly at 265 Earth credits it's a bit of an undertaking, isn't it? Looks like we've got flight foam Propel in this shoe. I'm quite intrigued as to where Asics use that foam and where they don't. Some of the shoes I thought they would use it in, they stick to the same old stuff, so it's a bit odd. Interesting stuff, and this one appears in Japan in March, so do get ready to pick it up. I imagine it'll be some sort of limited release. It's that type of shoe. Not sure I'm going to go for that one. Okay, that's all the running news for today. Hope you enjoyed the show, guys. If you've got any interesting running news stories that have cropped up that you think would spike my interest, then please let me know via Instagram or on the email in the description of this video. Musical interlude time for you. As you guys well know, I've been building up a playlist ready for my half marathon time trial attempt this weekend, and I've been going for the tracks with the higher tempos, something upwards of 165, 169, something like that. Round about there is going to provide me with a good metronome. So that's meant digging back into some of the old jungle and drum and bass tracks that I used to really enjoy in the early 90s. One such track is by Crime and Time, entitled The Slammer. It's one of those really up for it tracks. There's some very 90s sounding piano in there, Amen Brothers breaks, and lots of sine wave bass lines, all the stuff that you need to make you run fast. The Boogie Times Tribe track, The Dark Stranger, is on there as well, which was always a favourite of mine. There was always a great one I liked from the Marvellous Kane as well, which was called Dubplate Style. Loads of mashed up aim and breaks and those classic 808 kick drum bass lines. It's always a favourite of mine. Sons of a Loop de Loop era as well were always really good. They used to introduce turntablist stuff in there, lots of scratching, cutting. Their track Peace and Loveism is always going to be a favourite of mine. So definitely worth checking out if you like that early 90s jungle and rave stuff. Anything from suburban bass really. And certainly I'll have a few tracks on there to complement AC/DC and a bit of Motorhead. That should do it. It does often strike me I do have a quite diverse musical taste. Yeah. Okay, thanks for sticking with me to the very end of the video today, guys. I very much appreciate it. If you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click the bell below for notifications of when I launch those new videos. and it really does help us out if you give this video a thumbs up like and share it with your running buddies. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you.